All right, this video is going to teach you about multi-step problems involving percents. You still need to be able to find percent of a number. You change the percent to a decimal, multiply it by the number you're finding percent of, and then you add or subtract it from whatever the original was. However, with these problems, that's not the end of it. There's going to be more to do than just that. So you're really going to have to think. I have 3 examples, and I would expect you to write all 3 of them down in your notes. And make sure you follow along because these can be challenging and I want to make sure you get it. So, let's say you're at a restaurant. Again with the coughing. You order a meal that costs $63.90. You leave a 20% tip and the sales tax is 5%. What is the total cost of the meal? Well, when you figure this one out, what you want to do is take $63.90 and multiply it by your tip. So I have 63.9 times 20% as a decimal. Notice I put in 0.2 because that's the same thing. And this is equal then to 1278. And then what I have to do is do 63.90 times the tax. So I'm going to take 63.9 times the tax, which is 0.05, and I get 3.195. Now remember, we're dealing with money. Excuse me. So it's only 2 decimal places. I'm going to round this one. I look there. This is going to round to $3.20. And then what I would do finally is take 63.90 plus 1278 plus 320. So I would take 63.9 plus 12.78 plus 3.2, and I get $79.88. $79.88 is my total bill. Now it's important to realize that when you leave your tip, you're not going to leave it on the tax. That's why the tax and the tip were both figured off of the original price of the meal, the $63.90. You don't add the tip or you add the tax and then find the tip. You find the tip and the tax based off the meal price itself. Now, I always have students ask, well, can't you just add those together, those 2 percentages? So in other words, add this and add this. The answer to that is yes. As long as you're finding 20% and you're finding 5%, both of the same number, which you are here. So in other words, you could do 63.9 and you can multiply it by 20 plus 5 or 25%. So I'm going to clear this out. And I have 63.9 times 0.25 and I get 15.975. 15.975. Again, we're dealing with money, so this is going to be 15.98. So then what I do is take 63.90 plus the 15.98. So I have 63.9 plus 15.98. And that is $79.88, the exact same price. Again, only when it's based off of you're multiplying it by the same number here, the 63.90. So I'm finding 20% of that, and I'm finding 5% of that. It's the same thing as finding 25% of that. But that's not many cases for these problems, so be very careful, okay? Okay, next one. Okay, you're going shopping, and you saw a pair of purple Uggs at Nordstrom that you just had to have. The retail price is $189.95, but Nordstrom is running a one-day sale, 30% off everything in the store. OMG! The sales tax is 7.25%. You have $150 to spend. Can you actually afford these totally cute boots? Well, that's what you have to figure out. So, what you're going to do is take 189.95, and you say, all right, well, the first thing is I'm going to get 30% off just for shopping here today. So I'm going to multiply by 30.30. I'm going to clear this out. Clear. So I have 189.95 and times 0.3, which is the same thing as 0.30, and I get 56.98. So 56.985 actually, and then I'm going to have to round that to 56.99. So now what I have is the boots that were 189.95, and I got to subtract 56.99. I'm subtracting it because I'm getting the sale price for these boots. So 189.95, 189.95 minus 56.99 is 132.96. Now, that's not the price out the door, otherwise $150 would be fine. Excuse me. We have to find out what 7.25% is and add that tax in. Government's got to have their share. 132.96 times 0.0725. So I have 132.96 is already in my calculator, so I'm just going to hit times. See how it did the answer times? That's a great feature, saves a lot of time. 0.0725 gives me 9.6396. So that's the same thing as 9.6. What is it, Bueller? 64. So now what I need to do is take my sale price, 132.96, and I need to add the tax, 9.64, to it. So now I'm not going to leave this number because I didn't round that, so I have 9.64 plus the 132.96 is 142.60. 142.60. OMG, girlfriend, you can totally get those boots and you'll have even some money left for Starbucks. Maybe a Frappuccino. All right, let's move on. Here's my last problem. Write this one down. And I would like you to try and solve this one. I'm going to read it to you. As a preferred customer of Berlin's House of Tools, Mr. Jones will get 10% off the table saw that has a retail price of $3,899. Mr. Jones also has a coupon for an additional 15% off all sale prices. What is the new price of the table saw? So go ahead and write this down and try and figure it out. Pause the video. All right, this problem is a little bit tricky. It's a little bit tricky because of this part right here. Off all sale prices. So in other words, what I would have to do first is take the price of the saw, $38.99, times my preferred customer discount, which I really wish I had, but I know I don't. Let me clear all this out again for this problem. So I have $38.99, and it's times 0.1, and it's $389.90. 389.9. That's going to be how much I would save on the saw. So I would take $38.99 minus 389.90. So $38.99. Now watch this, is another cool way to do this. Minus, and rather than type in, since I already have 389 up there as my previous answer, I just do second answer. And I get 3509.10. 3509.10. Okay, this is the sale price of the table saw. But I also get 15% off of the sale price. So here, you could not have taken the 25% off the original. That wouldn't have worked because you have to find the sale price first, then take 15% off of the sale price. So this is times 0.15. That's a big difference. That's where this problem's tricky. So what I'm going to do is times, and it's 0.15. Oh, darn it. 0.15. There we go. Is 526,365. So that would be 526.37 in additional savings. So I would take 3509.1 minus 526.37. So I'm going to take 3509.1 and we subtract the 526.37, and the price that I would actually be able to buy the saw then is $2982.73. So $2,982.73. Again, this one's tricky. You couldn't have taken the 20%, the 10%, and the 15%, say 25% off. It wouldn't have worked because it's 15% off of the sale price. So you have to find the initial sale price first, then take an additional 15% off of that. Okay? Now, that one right there, you really want to understand that one. You might see it again sometime soon. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Goodbye, my friends.